let's switch gears and talk about Saleh. I reviewed my post-game rant, and I felt like I didn't critique Saleh hard enough. That defense gave up 43 points. So I have some specific things that I would tell him to his face in a respectful way that I would do differently, even though I'm not a defensive coordinator. But I certainly tell Kyle Shanahan what to do all the time, so I'm not going to hold back with Saleh. But before I say what I think I would have done different, what I know I would have done differently, I'd like to know what your critiques are of him, because he really is the one with a lot of excuses.
So the funny thing with Kyle and Saleh is that I think we have contrasting opinions. I think you're extra
I'm
critical
Team Saleh.
on Kyle.
Yes.
And I'm extra critical on Saleh.
Yes.
And I'm very pro Kyle, and I guess I don't actually know if you're as pro Kyle Saleh as I am Kyle, but the perception is that you are more pro Saleh than I am pro Kyle.
Yes.
So sticking with that theme, my big problem was it seemed like they were playing a lot of press man coverage, which is what they did the last 3 weeks. And the disconcerting thing to me is that Robert Saleh had allegedly, if true, had the same overreaction that millions of fans had, thinking that the Niners defense was a lot better than it actually is. The Jets, the Giants, and the Eagles don't have wide receivers or good offensive line play.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Dante Johnson doesn't get burned against them.
Right.
Like, look, Travis Fulgham played amazing versus Pittsburgh yesterday. And he had a great catch versus the 49ers, but he's not Julio Jones. Look, the rest of this schedule, if you try to play the same aggressive man coverage style that you played against those three teams, do you really think the Niners corners at their healthiest cannot cover Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp in man coverage?
No.
That's just a fact. There's not a lot of corners that can do that in the NFL. And the Niners don't have very good corners. So I did not understand the concept of playing that much man coverage. Look, I just watched the game on TV.
Right.
Maybe there was
less. Hasn't come out. We'll have to look and we'll be better informed. But this is just, I was there too. So if I saw something different, I'd correct you.
Right. And so that was the worrying thing. But honestly, it's I don't really find it. I don't want to criticize him. Look, this team was built, I think it goes back to roster construction and the fact that this team is so overly reliant on Nick Bosa and Dee Ford. And without Nick Bosa and Dee Ford, all these holes all over this defense just get exposed.
Yeah. All right, let me give my criticism of Robert Saleh because I whiffed yesterday at the game. Now, he has no pass rush. That's not his fault. I mean, they had one sack, no sacks, 5 quarterback. I mean, they didn't have anything. So he has to blitz. That kind of dictates the coverages you have to call. I feel for him on that. But look, the first big play that Brian Allen gave up, do you remember what the coverage was?
Was it 2-man?
It was cover 3.
Cover 3?
Okay,
and he's first play of the game to Preston.
First play of the game. Okay, he's playing cover 3.
He didn't even get over the top of him.
Okay, so that's that. Right now, you're seeing the guy cannot play the basic coverage in our defense. So what I would say to Robert is, look, man, you do a great job at motivating your players and getting them to play hard, and developing good game plans. But when you're presented with something like this, where you may think you have a Keller Witherspoon, and right before the game you got to go to Brian Allen, you have to have an emergency game plan where you don't let Brian Allen kill you. And it's how do you do that? Well, he showed you on the first play of the game he can't play deep third, so you can't call that. Okay, I know, and it's okay, well, that's our main coverage, but there's a really easy adjustment. Instead of calling cover 3, match, you call cover 3 cloud. It's the same coverage, except the players are distributed differently. Instead of having Brian Allen as a deep third defender, which he showed you in the first play he can't do, you put him in the flat. So if he does get beat, it's for a 10-yard gain and not a 50-yard gain. You have the safeties rotate over so that Jimmy Ward's playing deep third, Jaquiski Tartt's in the middle, and Jason Verrett's deep. I mean, that's a basic adjustment. And
it's something they've done before.
It's something they've done before. And I want to say I expect when I watch coach's film that it's something he did in this game. But what I would say is there were way too many examples where this guy was left man-to-man coverage. He should have been playing what I would have done, and maybe you get burned anyway. But when you go back and forth between cover 3 cloud and cover 2. That guy should always be in the flat. He should not be in man-to-man coverage. He should not be deep. He should be in the flat or blitzing, one of the two. So that's what I would say, Robert. And I would say it to him too. I respect you, but you have to show a better ability to adjust mid-game to protect a glaring weakness at cornerback, because I can count many times that you've lost games because of Greg Maben, or in this case, Brian Allen. Like, you're too smart, you're too good of a coach, and you have too many other good players. You should be able to mask that. And we talked on the phone, like, you can't lose a game because of Brian Allen when you have a playmaker like Tavarius Moore on the bench. You got to get your best players on the field. And the fact that you're now 2-3 and Tavarius Moore has no role in this team, come on, find something.
Agreed. That was good where I was going to go. I think that he has to find a way to get his 11 best defensive players on the field. And I think a lot of that problem is now with K'Wan Williams on injured reserve. Look, Dre Greenlaw is one of your 8 best defensive players. Most NFL teams, I mean, the Rams run 11 personnel, even this year, 73% of the time. So if you're going to match up 11 personnel by going nickel, then guess who's not going to be on the field?
Quan Alexander.
No, Dre Greenlaw.
Dre Greenlaw, you're right.
Right. And so now it's not even close. He's way better at what he does than Jamar Taylor, than Brian Allen, than the Webster guy, than even Akello Witherspoon.
Yeah.
So my thing with that is you've got to find a way to get Dre
your best players
and Tavarius Moore on the field, just because they're so much better than the guys that you have at this point as backups.
Yeah, you trotted out a practice squad guy and left a 3rd round pick on the bench.
Right.
I mean, I saw in camp you experimented with him at nickel. He's played corner before. You should have cross-trained him at both places. And if you don't like what you saw from him there, because he did have like some holding penalties at corner, then put him at free safety and move Jimmy Ward over there, because Ward has experience playing that position. He's got a 3-year contract. I know he doesn't want to play that spot, but dude, do it for the team. You have long-term security.
Right. And he's definitely Jimmy Ward is one of their 5 or 6 best players on defense. And so Jimmy Ward is a good player. He's not having a great season this year, but he's still a good player. You have to put him out. You have to ask him to play corner, maybe they asked him and he said, no, I won't play corner. Look, I don't know the details.
Yeah, we don't know. We just don't know.
Right. The point is that I wish they found a way to not be forced to play so many snaps with Brian Allen and Jamar Taylor.